we were not into it.
I'm not trying to be the pretentious, artsy-fartsy Hollywood actor. I promise, because I know how pretentious it sounds. Almost nobody got it. This opening segment is for you, Tracy.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping.
Welcome to Two Gaming Dudes.
Two humans on Earth will find that funny. My wife and me. That's it. Joker,
you wanna talk about
à deux.
Yeah.
Or Folie à deux.
Okay, so this movie bombed like really bad.
It bombed. Well, okay, so on a budget of $200 million, it made $204 million. With marketing, it didn't break even.
No, it did not.
Okay, however, I am in a massive minority here.
Really?
Charles, this was a fucking masterpiece.
Really?
This was a fucking masterpiece.
Huh.
And I'm not surprised that it didn't do well. Because it's a masterpiece that only a very small sliver of audience is going to get.
Well, obviously, because judging by the numbers, only a small percentage of people liked it.
There's a lot to say here about this. This will require a little bit. The first Joker came out. It's the same guys.
Yeah.
It's Todd Phillips, Todd Silver. It's the same guys. Okay.
Right.
The first one came out, and everybody was like skeptical. Because all he's done is the Hangover movies.
Right.
He's done a bunch of jerk-off fart movies.
Right.
And he had done one serious film, War Dogs.
Okay.
Which is excellent.
All right.
A serious, and is very, very good. He's a good director. Okay. And the first one came out, and people were like, okay, listen, it's not your typical superhero movie. It's not going to be light shows and flying and superheroes.
And tights and stuff. Right.
It's a gritty, street-level origin. It's different. And people were like, you know what? This is actually a breath of fresh air. Because in the comics, we've seen this direction with Joker before.
Yeah.
And it was different, and we're like, okay, this was really great. And it was a huge phenomenon. Okay.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the same way that I enjoyed Falling Down.
Okay.
This was a character that I could relate to as someone who gets pushed around, gets bullied, and then finally turns around and bites back. And I don't know, there was something really powerful about that.
Okay. So now the sequel is presented to us, and people are expecting that again. People are saying, this ground level comic book movie, but a different... It's not that at all. It is not. This is a deep psychological drama. This is an art house film.
I think what people were expecting was not necessarily the same thing again, but just an expansion of, like, continue the story. Tell me more of this story told this way. And the director decided to be artistic and say, I'm going to try something very different. And we were not into it.
I'm not trying to be the pretentious, artsy-fartsy Hollywood actor. I promise, because I know how pretentious it sounds. Almost nobody got it. I'm not trying...
I mean, you're not wrong.
If you get it...
the box office proves we didn't get it.
But if you do get it, you understand it's a master, and you understand why. If you get what he was doing, you understand. I'm trying to not spoil it, because I think a lot of people didn't see it, and you really should give it a chance. If you don't get it, all right, you wasted 2 hours. But if you get it, it's a fucking masterpiece.
So, I'm of the one that didn't get it. I felt like they had taken a character... and they had brought him back down and never brought him back up again. We wanted to see the clown prince of crime. We wanted to see that transformation. We saw it in the first one. And then it starts in the second one in a good place, but you never see him climb from there.
Oh, yeah.
And
this might be fanboy stuff. That a casual, if you know the comics... you took an element from the first one. Is that really Joker? Or is this a guy who inspires the Joker? And in this, they take that and run with it. Up until the last second. Is this really the Joker that is this the guy that's going to tangle with Batman in 20 years?
Right.
It's Harley. We know where she came from. And this differs so much because everything we've seen in that relationship from the comics to the cartoons,
Right.
is how Joker builds up Harley into this thing. This is, no, they build each other. Oh shit, no she doesn't! The mindfuck is so fantastic, and there are so many Easter eggs that comic geeks are only going to get. It sounds pretentious. I know it does, and I'm trying not to spoil it. You just didn't get it. And it's not your fault for not getting it.
So what didn't help, I think, were some of the things that came out in the media kind of surrounding it. So I know you enjoyed it. Do you know who else really enjoyed this? Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
And his quote is, and I quote, "I really, really, really liked it a lot. Todd Phillips is the Joker. The Joker directed the movie. The entire concept, even him spending the studio's money, he's spending it like the Joker would spend it. He's saying F you to all of them. He's saying F you to the movie audience. He's saying F you to Hollywood. He's saying F you to anybody who owns any stock at DC.
I completely disagree. It's great that he loved it, but Quentin didn't get it.
Right.
He doesn't get it.
But that's the way that a large portion of the audience got it. So
They also don't get it.
you are very right. So that then circles back to whose fault is that? I mean, were we supposed to be a lot smarter and catch on to these things when we watch it, or did they need to
Did you see where Harley's
do
mallet
something
came
a little
from, by the way?
different?
You didn't even catch that, did you? Mm-mm. When Joker grabs the hammer, he kills the judge with the giant hammer. That's Harley's hammer. Or it becomes Harley's hammer.
Clever, clever.
You didn't get it.
No.
It's not because you're not a Batman guy, and you're not an art house guy. The problem with this was that it was a giant end-of-year blockbuster, and it shouldn't have been. They should have made it clear from the end when you spend $200 million. Okay.
Well, you spend $200 million, people are expecting it to be something a lot bigger.
I don't know where that fucking money went. There's no giant stunts or laser karate fight. There's none of that. There's one special effect in the entire film. Oh, fuck.
Whatever.
I'll censor that out. I'll beat that out, because that is a big spoiler. There's one major special effect in the entire... And it's fucking 1940s technology. It was done with practicals.
Okay.
I don't know where the $200 million fucking went.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we know that the director made $20 million right off the bat, and we know this dude made $20 million right off the bat, so there's 40 gone.
Okay. It didn't have to cost that. It could have been made on a modest budget, and then make it clear from the beginning, this isn't a superhero movie. It isn't really even an origins movie. They touched a little bit on the beginning. Who the fuck is this guy, and what is going on in his mind? And they go a step beyond that. Okay, you really want to see? We'll show you. And in fact, we'll make you feel a part of what's going on in his mind. You are watching half of this movie as the Joker. You feel... This is what it feels like to be the Joker. This is what it's like to be Joker. It's not like a first-person perspective, but mentally it is. And that's what I'm saying. It's so brilliantly crafted that if you're off by a millimeter, it's gone. It's like aiming at the moon. If you're off by a millimeter, by the time you get there, you're 250,000 miles away. You started off this far, but you're going like this. If you miss that little bit, you won't get it. And you're going to say crazy, it's a fuck you to the audience. No, it's not. It's not at all.
That's interesting. So the biggest criticism by far was audiences feeling like they were either being attacked by the film because the director was out to attack, fans and toxic fans and all of that entire fandom.
That's silly.
Which I think is silly. And the director even came out and said, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
That is not what I was setting out to do. So unintended consequences there of I made a film and I wanted to do something different from the first, and it got interpreted the wrong way. And then that spread like wildfire.
Yeah, I think people thought the musical numbers were like, fuck you hate musical. Even though it's the giant hammer. Even though they slow down the pacing, they're integral to the story. You must it's intentional to feel that slowdown, that grind. That's for a reason. It's not just that he fucked up. Nothing in this film, not a frame of this, is by chance. Every fucking glance at every fucking frame is meticulously crafted for a reason. And part of that is he went so far on the fartsy, or so much on the artsy, that the fartsy didn't click. for a lot of people. If you got the artsy, the fartsy, it's like this. It's beautiful. But if you missed one or the other, you're not going to get it.
As someone who was not into artsy fartsy at all, I stuck around for 15 minutes, and I got really bored and frustrated, kind of confused, and decided, I don't really need to stick around for the rest of this. I don't need to watch this. I ended up watching a bunch of reviews on it, and that was kind of like my whole experience with Joker 2 was mostly reviews. And then that culminated into finally watching Phil Mento's review of it, who was one of my favorite critics, and that was the end for me. I was like,
Really? Phil Mento didn't get it? I'm astonished.
Well, I understand. Phil Mento always looks at a film that if it was a commercial failure, why?
Okay.
What happened that caused it to be a commercial? Which is what I'm always interested in, right? I don't care if you like it or hate it. That's personal. But if it doesn't do well, if financially, like, droves of people didn't go see this, what happened there? Why not?
Well, I mean, this is an awful thing to say because it was too smart for a mass audience.
Possibly.
It was too smart for a mass audience. It was too smart for most critics.
Does that mean that the first Joker was, like, a little bit more dumbed down? Because I felt the first Joker was a pretty intelligent film.
It was. He found a very good balance. Very good balance. On this one, the balance was way off. It was way skewed to the cerebral, intellectual, and that's it for an American audience. That's a bad... I'm sorry, man. That's a bad direction.
I mean, you're not wrong. He never once shot laser beams out of his eyeballs, so, you know.
I
don't know, anything beyond that, you're going to start spoiling.
Give it
You'll
another
get into
shot.
Spoiler territory.
Give it another shot.
I'll try, but...
Try it tonight, watch, and maybe I've ruined it already because now you already know. Or maybe I made it for because now you know what to expect.
Maybe.
Whatever you think it is, it's not that.
I mean, maybe that's what it takes, right? Maybe that's what it takes is a reviewer to actually say, look, you need to go into this, but you need to go into this with the right mindset right from the beginning.
Yeah. Like, I watched Inglourious Bastards twice. Mm-hmm. The first time I hated it. Because I'm like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. None of this really happened. Read a history book. And then afterwards, I'm like, that's not the point. That's not what it was. That's not what he's not trying to make a historical movie. I'm like, okay, let me watch it again for what it is. And then I'm like, okay.
And all of a sudden, it was...
You're right.
Oh.
It's pretty good. This is the same thing. It's if you forget what you think
I had
it
the
is.
same experience with Barbie.
Huh, okay.
I really did, though. You and I saw it in the theater, and we walked out of it going, what a bunch of bullshit. This is a stupid-ass movie.
Fucking stupid.
And then, like, a few months later, I caught it at home, and I was like, actually, I don't hate this. It's fine. He started, like, liking it for what it was meant to be, right?
I'm not going to watch it again.
Well, probably not, no.
But you should give this a chance.
Much along the same lines, even Barbie was crafted for a very specific audience, like, for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
And so I guess
Yeah.
along the same, I don't know why I just compared Barbie to Joker 2, but I guess Joker 2 is much the same where it's crafted for a specific audience and you really have to come in with a certain mindset.
I think maybe Todd Phillips just gave a mass audience a little too much credit. Said, no, people are smart. They'll get it. People are stupid. They won't get it. And the
We don't
bad
get
side is,
shit. We don't understand what the hell's...
if he did dumb it down a bit, he would ruin it. It wouldn't be. It would
It
be
would just say movie. You would have to do it totally different.
It would just be, okay, yeah, the sequel to Joker, yeah, it was fine. Same shit. It was the same shit. It's completely different. It's not the same shit. You can't dumb it down. You'll wreck it. I'm perfectly fine if forever history this is remembered as a masterpiece to just a handful of people and shit to everyone else. That's perfectly fine because the couple thousand of us that get it, fucking masterpiece. And I don't use that word almost ever.
All right.
Platoon was a masterpiece. Schindler's List, masterpiece. It's up there with that fucking shit.
Wow.
That's how well done and intelligent it is. And I get that it's not an insult if you don't get it. Because a lot of things have to happen at the same time for you to get it. You have to be
You have to be in the right mindset. I mean, the weed's got to be perfect. I mean, just everything's got to be right.
you have to be a Batman guy. You have to be a psychological drama guy. You have to be an art house guy. You have to have all this shit, and there's not very many of us like that. So not a lot of people are going to understand it. It's okay. But you can't blow $200 million.
Yeah,
on a movie like that.
That's the other problem, too.
I got it.
Way too much money.
It's Wes Anderson.
Oh.
It's Royal Tenenbaums and Rushmore and Grand Budapest. Wes Anderson. There are not a lot of Wes Anderson fans because it's too fucking weird for most people. But for the handful of us that get it,
Yeah.
Wes Anderson is God. And he understands, I need 15 million to make this movie because not a lot of people are going to see it. That's where they fucked up. You can't blow 200 million on a Wes Anderson film.
No, 200 million. That's now you're getting into blockbuster territory,
And
right?
this is
You're
not
something
that.
this is something that has to make $500 million.
Right. And Wes Anderson's Asteroid City is not going to make $1 billion. It's not going to happen.
No, it is not.
It's going to play at the Art House Theater for 2 days, and it's going to be the same assholes that I saw there 2 years ago when his last movie came out. It's the same fucking 50 people.
So that's that. That's also like Megalopolis. Like it's the same
All that
deal. Where
shit.
like 8 people are going to see this and actually like it.
So that was its failure. Not the artistry. The artistry was some of the best I've ever seen, maybe ever. But that's where they failed.
Well, there you go.
You really should give it another chance. I don't think you'll like it.
But I should watch it anyway. Huh?
Give it a go. Knowing what to expect and what to look for now, give it another chance.
You know what? That might be it, though. Going into it knowing what to expect can absolutely change a movie, which is something that you guys should comment on right now. What's a movie that you really have to be in the right mindset to actually enjoy? Because if you just jump into it, you're not going to get it, and you're going to get pissed off at it, or you're going to hate it, or whatever it is. I would love to know, what movie does that for you?
I don't know what to call this. I don't know what to do with the thumbnail.
I don't know.
I mean, all the performances were just... I'm not even a fan of Lady Gag, but she was outstanding. Everybody just hit it perfect. Everybody.
There's so many thumbnails of Joker 2 sucked. So I think if you posted Joker 2 was actually a triumph, everybody would be like, what are you nonsense talking about,
I will,
son?
yeah. You're all crazy. This was a masterpiece. I mean this as sincerely as I can. And not in a pretentious way, because I understand why most people would disagree.
Right?
But for those of us that do have all those 16 boxes that you have to check, for the couple thousand of us, masterpiece.
Which isn't enough to support a blockbuster.
No. But it could have supported a $20 million Wes Anderson film.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Maybe that's all the director really wanted, was just people to understand his vision. And maybe that's all. Well, I mean, that and a $20 million paycheck.
Well,
So-
I mean, we can understand that. We do this show with as little effort as possible. I mean, we make jokes about it, but we do it because it's fun.
Right.
And a couple hundred people get it.
Right.
Everybody else, they click off after 2-3 minutes. These guys are assholes. But for those couple hundred that get it,
Especially the ones that stick around this long.
I'm perfectly happy to do it just for a tiny little audience that understands it.
That's very true.
I'm A-okay with that.
That's very true. We also do not blow $200 million on an episode, though. So
I don't need to be Taylor Swift. I'm perfectly happy being Morphine. Shout out to the Morphine fans out there. There's probably a couple dozen of them, too. These weird, funky art house guys that have their little cult following.
right.
I'm perfectly happy if that's all we ever amount to.
That's fair.
Same thing with this film, I think. I don't want to put words in the man's mouth, but I think that's what he was getting at. When he got pushed back from the studio, he's like, don't worry, people will get it. Not many. That's
Not
okay.
many,
I'm doing
but
it
that's
for
okay.
the handful of people that do get it.
That's right.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I want to interpret it.
I think that's fair. Well, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you in another episode.
All right.
Later.